And good evening and welcome out everyone to tonight's onboarding webinar. This is Coach Frank with Tackle Trading. I'll be taking you through the Tackle Trading website here this evening, just showing you around a little bit, letting you know where things are, when they are, all of that fun stuff. So we'll jump right into it. I imagine I'll have my chat up here in just a moment. If you have any questions along the way, of course, feel free to ask. I'll certainly do my best to answer them for you. And if you've ever sat with me in one of these webinars before, you probably heard this before, but when I am explaining tackle trading to somebody who's, just, encountered us for the first time, really it's just a group of traders that have come together, share ideas, help each other out. While no one can ever make my trades for me, I can't make your trades for you. We certainly can share what's working, share what, our experience, share trade ideas. We can certainly do all of that fun stuff, right? And that's what I love about tackle trading. It really is just a community of traders that have come together to help one another out. I like to break my discussion on tackle trading into three parts, kind of the stuff that you can do on your own, the courses, the blogs, some of the tools. For the first, for the second, the live content, the daily schedule, the weekly schedule. We're hanging out with our team in one way or another almost every day of the week except for Saturday. So I'll take you through when we're doing it and what we're doing in the live content, and then lastly our weekend reports at the end of every trading week. We like to put together a game plan going into the upcoming week of trading and share those ideas with members of the team and our stock, options, commodity, and Forex report, as well as our tackle newsletter. So that will kind of be the angle that we're going to come at it here tonight on. We'll kind of take it, one at a time. Let's go ahead and start off here with the things that you can do on your own. That's going to be your courses, your blogs, whatnot. Of course, first thing that comes to my mind when I'm thinking about that is going to be courses. So I imagine I'm probably not alone there. We have several courses. You will first find the 7-step guide to trading course. That's the page that I'm on here right now. This is about a 2-hour course that'll kind of take you through the tackle trading way, if you will. While no two traders are exactly the same, I think philosophically we do kind of adhere to a particular approach here as a community at tackle trading, from starting at the top of the market, choosing our strategy to match the market conditions, the conditions that we're seeing on the thing that we're trying to trade, finding our trades, prepping them, placing them, managing them, journaling, kind of walking you through the whole 9 yards. This 7-step guide to trading will do. It's one of those that if you're a brand new trader, it'll really probably be helpful in kind of getting going. If you're a vet, you probably are already doing some of this stuff, if not most of it, but maybe it can give you a couple of ideas to make your personal routine a little bit smoother. Of course, beyond that 7-step guide to trading course, and that's available to anybody here at whether you're a pro member or not. We have our technical analysis 101, our options, futures, Forex 101, as well as our system development course. You will also notice a handful of premium courses here. These are the only thing that won't be available to each one of our pro members. What these are is kind of one-time purchases. That system is yours for life. Once a month, we get together with members of that team in a mastermind group just to give you a little bit of information about what they are. The Tackle 25 is a covered call-based system on a select group of stocks that we put together each year, specifically with selling covered calls in mind. The STEP system is our swing trading system, stop loss, target, entry, and position size. Cash flow condors is another cash flow system, this time on the Russell 2000 index. And of course, the bear market survival guide, exactly what it sounds like, protecting our portfolios and profiting in bearish market conditions. If you want a little more information on them, you can hop over to the store. You can send us an email to team@tackletrading.com. Just let us know. We'll be happy to get you a little bit more information on any of those systems, but they will be the only thing that's not available to you as a pro member here at Tackle Trading. The technical analysis course, we can't trade without charts, right? The better we are at charting, the probably easier everything else is going to be, right? We need to be able to identify those, entry points. We need to be able to identify sell signals and stop loss placement, all that fun stuff, right? And that's exactly what we're going to go through in this technical analysis 101 course. If you let's be honest, nobody's perfect at technical analysis. I've yet to meet the 100% trader. We can all strive to be that. Probably won't be me that gets there, but doesn't mean I can't try. We can all benefit from getting a little bit better at technical analysis, right? So that course is going to be helpful from that perspective. You will also, in the shows tab in the Tackle 100 series live webinars, you will find the Technical Analysis 101 course taught live by Coach Noah. Same stuff that's going on in the actual course, just taught a little bit of different way, a little bit of a different format. Great webinar to help build up that technical analysis skill set. Would definitely encourage you to check that out. You'll find several other webinars in here as well. There's a Swing Trading 101 webinar that Coach Matt did for us. Awesome little webinar, kind of talking about, this stuff from a swing trading perspective, setting targets, setting entry points, stop loss management, trade identification, another great resource as you're building on your technical skill set. There's a futures webinar in here that Coach Grant did for us a while back. If you've ever been interested in getting to know that market a little bit more, pretty awesome little webinar. There are also multiple step system webinars in here, as you can see. And again, that's our swing trading system. If you want to take a closer look at kind of what kind of things that system's all about, get some ideas, these are very helpful little webinars as well. So again, those are all going to be found in the shows tab in the Tackle 100 series live webinars. The options course is really going to focus on the option contract itself. What happens when I buy or sell that call option? What are the factors that are moving that contract, right? How does time impact it? How does volatility, how does movement, all of that fun stuff? The more we understand the contract and why it's doing what it's doing, I think the easier time we're going to have as we're, branching into different option strategies. So if you, are newer to options, my advice is to get to know those options. If you get to know them, it makes it a lot easier as you're doing different strategies, in my opinion. If you've ever been interested in learning more about the futures or the Forex market, I know a lot of traders do. And so a lot of traders don't, and it's okay. That's what's great about trading. We don't have to trade everything. We can trade the markets that we like. But if you've ever been interested in those markets, but not really known where to start or how to understand the leverage that's involved with them and the way they move, they're a little bit different. In many ways, they're similar to, stock market. In some ways, they got their own little personality, right? So if you've ever been interested in learning either of those products, definitely a really good place to start. No matter what you're trading, whether it's just options, just stock, Forex, crypto, whatever it is, we do need to have rules and systems in place. And that system development course is designed to kind of train you to think like a systems builder when it comes to your trading business. You've heard it a million times. I've said it 2 million times, right? We've got to have clear rules. We got to know what our systems are, right? It's easy to say, but we're people and this is our money, right? And so it can be really easy to say, this is my rule. And then the market gets moving tomorrow and I'm, I'll think about that rule later, right? We don't want to do that, obviously. And I think we all agree with that. This system development course is a fantastic way to kind of train yourself to think about trading from a systems perspective. And in my opinion, that is, if not it is certainly one of the biggest moments, in a trader's life, in my opinion, when they really start to understand their trading as a system and not as, I like this, I'm going to take this breakout, I'm going to buy a call on this, whatever, that type of stuff. So no matter what you're doing and what your interests are, I would definitely encourage you to take a little time and work through that system development course. Not everything has to be a big old course, right? I will do blog content every week, whether it's more charting and Tales of Technician, taking concepts from the ground up with Coach Greg over in the Rookie Corner, more on options in the Option Theory blog, hearing the perspective of our fantastic female trading community in the Women in Trading blog. So most of these are going to come out on a weekly basis, short reads, 5-ish minute type of reads, just new, different ways to share ideas, with what's going on in the market currently. So you can expect those as well. Over in the Trade Center, you're going to find a few things. You're going to find a link to our trading glossary. You'll find a link to the trading journals in here. You'll find a link to our events calendar. You will also find a link to the playbook. And this is where you will find all of our strategies and the rules for those strategies. We break it down into 3 areas based off of the option Greeks. delta, which is direction, right? Stock is a delta trade. If you buy, some shares of Apple or whatever, but that's going to be buy and call options. It's going to be debit spreads, ratio spreads, diagonal spreads. When you hear delta in regards to a strategy, think movement, right? I expect this to move. Then you've got theta, which is the cash flow side, right? The cool thing about options is we can sell them and bring in that premium. That's going to be things like our covered calls, our naked puts, our credit spreads, our condors, stuff of that nature. And then vega or volatility. This is, bidirectional. I expect it to move a lot, but I'm not sure which way. I think earnings season is always what comes to mind for that. Or maybe the market expects that the stock's going to move a lot based off of whatever, and you think it's not, right? You want to kind of go against the grain. So these are going to be betting on the volatility of the, instrument that you're trading, not the direction or the time side of things. In all of these, you will find a detailed video going over, what the strategy is, why we would choose that strategy, where it fits kind of on the 0 to 3 or 0 to -3 scale, right? 0 being neutral, 1 being slightly bullish, -1 being slightly bearish, 2 being moderate, 3 being very. And I don't know, that's the way I word it. You don't have to word it that way, but it is important to match the strategy to our read of the situation, right? So kind of let you know where we see it from that perspective, what our rules for the strategy are, what we're looking from, delta point of view, a theta point of view, vega point of view, really just kind of taking you through the whole process of our rules for that particular strategy. There is also a little cheat sheet, little PDF that you can download so you can have easy access to those rules if you need them in a click of a button. So that will be over here in the Trade Center. Once again, that is the Tackle Trading Playbook. If you go directly into the Trade Center, this is just going to bring you to a what's up page. What's going on at Tackle Trading, what's our next show. We've got our Step Mastermind group coming up here shortly, recent posts, most recent report, most recent tweet, a little watch list if you want to build one here at Tackle Trading, an either replay or a live showing of one of our YouTube shows. Right now we're live on YouTube, so there's us right there. Usually it's going to be if it's not live, it's going to be a replay of the Tackle Trading halftime report, a little mini calendar, what's coming up in the next couple of days, where you are on any courses that you're taking, so you don't have to, where did I leave that one off? Can pick right back up where you left off. If you do want to use this watch list tool, very simple, very straightforward. You would just type your symbol in up here. You say we want to add McDonald's to the list. I'm just going to left click that. It's going to highlight it blue. I'm going to hit this little plus button over here. And now it's going to be in my list. If I leave this page and come back, it'll still be in this list. If I want to get rid of something, if I say, what, I'm done with you, McDonald's, I don't want to follow you anymore, same thing, I'll just left click to get it highlighted blue, hit the little minus button this time, and now McDonald's is gone. So of course you're going to be doing your charting, on your own charting platform, but some people do like to kind of build a little watch list just to easily pop in and check it when they're here at Tackle Trading. So that's kind of up to you. But that's how you will use that. There's a link to the market Skyline in here. This is going to be the indexes, the charts for all the indexes, the sector ETFs, the major commodities, gold, silver, what have you, kind of all in one place, right? These are all important things and things that traders are going to follow, at least as a collective unit. Just easy to have them just in one spot. So I can quickly see, hey, what did the S&P do today? What the Dow do? The NASDAQ, the RUT, what about you, Bitcoin? I can go in and look at the metals market. How did gold, do today? How did silver do today? Sector ETFs. Hey, what ETFs or what sectors were strong today? Had a nice bounce back in tech here today, probably the strongest along with communication. So just an easy place to, all in one spot. And that's, in a lot of ways, this Trade Center is kind of designed to save us a bunch of clicks. These are things I need to look at anyway, whether I'm doing it here, Tackle Trading, or elsewhere is completely up to me. But, I need to look at these things and I don't want to have to do a million clicks if I can avoid it. To that end, you'll also find a news aggregator that's going to go through some of these bigger financial sites like Wall Street Journal, The Times, Market Watch, CNBC, and just kind of get these headlines here for us. I can just kind of browse through. If somebody catches my attention, click on and read the article again to save me some clicks. Forgot to bring this up, but back over in the market Skyline, there is a link to the FinViz heat map. That'll just take you to the finviz.com and their heat map. just so we can kind of have that visual. Hey, this is the S&P 500, the visual of, what did today look like in the market? Where was the strength? Where was the weakness? If anything, kind of jumps out to me, awesome. So that's just that heat map button right there. There's going to be a link to the economic calendar, a link to our market reports, another link to our trade journals in here. And if you come this way, it will bring you to the kind of the video tutorial, I guess, if you need some help figuring that thing out. It's important to journal our trades, right? If you do come in this way, you can just kind of scroll down and you'll find the download in here as well. You can also get them up here and, if in the drop down from the Trade Center. Pretty straightforward, but some of us aren't very good at spreadsheets, myself included. So it can be a little helpful for some of us. But, for, long story short, I mean, what's cool about the trade journal is I need to let it know what I did. XYZ, I bought the stock. Here's the day. Here's the price I paid. Here's how many shares I bought. And then eventually when I sell it, close it out, it's going to do the rest for me. It's going to let me know how long I was in the trade. What's my average time in trade? What does my average winning trade make me? How much does my average losing trade cost me? Win percentage, most importantly, the bottom line, right? So very important information that we, need to know as traders, because as we do more and more things, we're going to find ways to get better and better and better, right? And the only way we do that is if we document that journey, if you will. So very important. Again, you can get them in the drop down, but you can pick them up here in the Trade Center itself as well. A link to a compounding gain calculator, another link to a chart if you ever need one, another link to our trading glossary and our search function, which is also the search function right up here. Pretty smart. It is a pretty smart search function. So if you're ever looking for something, it could be a great place to start. Never hesitate if you're looking for something and can't find it to, send us an email and ask us. We're more than happy to help. But a lot of times it's just easy and fast to just, I'm interested in learning more about covered calls. Just throw covered call in there, just test her out, come down and I'll view all the results here. And I'm going to have some options theories, blogs. I'm going to have some Traders Lounge conversations. I'm going to have all sorts of stuff just on covered calls. So it is pretty smart. We've got a lot of content that can be an easy way to find it. But like I said, if you ever are looking for something and you did this and it just weren't running into it, let us know. We're happy to help. Never feel like you can't do that by any stretch of the imagination. So that's going to be the Trade Center. We also have our Clubhouse, which kind of is our personal social media, right? It's just us. It's just trading. It's just a place where, if you're, going through something in trading, or if you're, something's interesting to you, if you have some questions, you want to bounce some ideas around with other traders, just an easy place to be able to do that, right? It's nice to be able to interact with other traders because, in my experience, trading is one of those things that either people really like to talk about or they really don't. There's not a lot of middle ground. I mean, I could talk trading all day long. A lot of times I do, but, not everybody in my, day-to-day, quote unquote, real life wants to talk trading with me. It's nice to know that I've got a community that wants to talk trading with me as much as I want to talk trading. Certainly invite you to join us over in that Clubhouse. In the Trade Center, you will also find the events calendar. And we'll kind of revisit this in a minute. But if you're ever looking for shows or the links to get into them or anything like that, all of that will be in here, right? So we're on the 22nd. There's the schedule for the day. Click on it. I'll get the information. Pretty straightforward. Let's talk a little bit about what the schedule is and kind of what we're doing in each of these shows. So first off, let's start with our Traders Lounge. That's our first show of the day. We do that every market morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. We get together in a Zoom webinar room, and it's just a place where we can answer our team's questions, whatever those questions might be. Maybe you're struggling with a particular strategy and it would be helpful to have somebody kind of walk you through it. Maybe you found an awesome trade setup. You wanted to share it and get some other eyes on it and some thoughts on it. Maybe you are struggling with managing an existing trade. Maybe your routine is a mess and you need some pointers. Who knows? We all have questions sometimes. Every now and then we all need a little bit of help. The lounge is specifically designed to do that for our team. There are no questions you can't ask in there. Don't feel like your question's too basic. Don't feel like it's too advanced. We're always happy to answer whatever your questions you might have on a daily basis. If the market's open, so is the Traders Lounge. This is the one show we don't record religiously, I guess, but we will do snippets in here. And so, if we have a conversation on something in the lounge that, will be just as useful a week from now or a month from now or whatever, it's not a huge deal to hit the record button and get that put into this, directly into this link here for our team. If your schedule is such that you just can never make it live to the lounge, if you're at work at 11 a.m. Eastern or whatnot, but you have a question and need some help, let us know. We'll always do our best to accommodate you. If you let us know, we can have it, we can talk about it. We can get the snippet for you and we can get that posted in here. So never hesitate to let us know if we can help you, because that's exactly what we're here to do. That's every market morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. If the market's open, so is the lounge. That'll go for an hour. Shortly after that is over, at 12:30, we will head over to our YouTube channel. That is where we do the Tackle Trading Halftime Report. I'm sure some of you have probably seen it before, but it's a live look in on the market. Where are we at technically? What's the news that's moving the market today? How are the different areas of the market doing, be it the indexes, S&P, the RUT, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the commodities, gold, silver, crude, copper, the sectors, stocks in the news, really just going through that daily routine with our team over on YouTube. That is live on YouTube at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, about the halfway point of the trading day. Being on YouTube, once it is over, it'll automatically, post over on our channel, or as you saw, you can watch it directly over in the Trade Center as well, if you prefer to do that. So whether it's live or a little down the road, we will be going through the market with you each and every day. So that's every single market day. We will be doing our lounge at 11. We will be doing our halftime report at 12:30 over here on YouTube. Each and every market day, we'll be going through it with you. That is for sure. Then we have our evening schedule. Our evening is going to look like on Monday nights. I do this webinar just to people who are new to tackle trading, could use a little helping hand kind of walking through the site. For any questions, stuff like that, you're always welcome to join me in here. It's never too crazy. It's never too much different than last week's, but you're always welcome if you think it would be helpful to go through the process again. Door is always open. On Tuesday nights, we do our coaches show at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. That is where we can kind of get together. We're a couple days into the market week now, right? About Monday and Tuesday behind us. What's kind of shaking out, what's shaping up for, maybe some interesting things going into the rest of the week as we kind of go through the market skyline. It also allows us to have really good in-depth discussions on one of the many, many things that's available to talk about in trading, right? There's a ton of things that we can talk about and have really, great conversations, whether, it's, strategies, right? Bull calls versus long calls versus diagonal calls, whether it's, indicators, MACD, RSI, stochastic, moving averages, whether it's particular setups, bullish breakouts, whether it's portfolio design. I mean, there's a million little things that we can talk about. What the Coaches Show really allows us to do is take one of those, topics and have a really good in-depth discussion with our team. We always try to keep it, topical with what's going on in the market, right? Because of course we do. That's live on Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Would definitely encourage incorporating that into your schedule and routine. It is recorded and archived, so if that's an inconvenient time and you can't make it, you can of course catch the recording. If you need to revisit it, if you want to go back, and they're all archived in there, if you want to go back and have discussion, hear discussions on different things that have your interest and attention, more than welcome to do just that. I would say the Coaches Show is our kind of our flagship show, and would definitely encourage you finding some time, be it live or at a more convenient time, to go through that on a weekly basis. On Thursday nights, again at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we do our Cash Flow Club. That is going to be very specifically focused on, building and managing those cash flow plays, right? The credit spreads, the condors, the covered calls, the naked puts, right? Selling options. We'll talk about building those type of trades. We'll talk about managing those type of trades. We're going to be very narrowly focused each Thursday night over in the Cash Flow Club. Just like the Coaches Show, that's recorded and archived. You can watch previous episodes. You can catch this week's on Sunday morning. Whatever works for you is as awesome as far as I am concerned. So that's, kind of our evening shows on Tuesdays and Thursdays over here at Tackle Trading. We typically once a week are meeting up with members of, as I said earlier, about once a month we meet up with members of our different premium teams. Typically, once each week we're going to be meeting up with one of those team members. We're also on Wednesday night at 7 Eastern here on YouTube. Again, we're going to do our Trade Masters webinar. It's where a couple of the coaches can get together with some trade setups, share them with one another, share them with the team, bounce ideas around with Coach Mark. And at the end of the show, Mark will declare a winner. So it's a lot of fun to be able to share ideas. It is live at 7 Eastern. It'll go for about an hour. Certainly hope to see you over there. I'll actually be coming in this Wednesday, so I don't know who my opponent is, but sorry in advance. I'm gonna get you. So we're doing that on Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Right here on our YouTube channel. You'll also notice in the shows tab, Mind of a Trader. We do a couple of them, so the easiest way is going to be back in this events calendar. On Fridays, about an hour before the market closes, Coach Mark does his at the closing bell. The easiest way to get into that will be just directly here in the events calendar. He does his commodity report live. He bounces ideas around with members of the team. They share charts with one another, talk about game plan going into early next week. Just a nice fun way to kind of wrap up the trading week. That's at 3 Eastern time, about an hour before the market closes on Fridays. Mark also does a weekend prep course, or weekend prep class on Sunday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We've had the futures market open for a little bit now. Based on that futures market, has anything changed? Anything standing out going into early next week? Or going into Monday morning in particular. So again, just another way that we can hang out, spend some time with the team, bounce ideas around, because it helps. It helps a lot to bounce ideas and talk this stuff through with folks. So there are a couple different Mind of a Traders. Because of that, the easiest way to get into the one you're looking for will be directly over here in this events calendar. We, as I mentioned earlier, have a tremendous team of female traders with us here at Tackle Trading. They'll get together about once a month in their Women in Trading Mastermind group. I don't get to go. I don't know exactly what happens in that mastermind group, but I do know our team. I do know the awesome ladies of Tackle Trading. I know that they're in there getting a lot of good work done. I know they're having fun while they're doing it. If you're a woman in trading, or if you know a woman in trading, certainly would get hooked up with the awesome women in trading community here at Tackle Trading. It tends to be towards the end of the month. Like I said, I never get to go. It tends to be towards the end of the month. We'll always promote it. We'll always let you know ahead of time, when we've got that planned, of course. But certainly, fellas, you'll have to find something else to do that day. But for our awesome ladies, certainly would, encourage you to check that out. So that's going to be what the schedule is going to look like. Kind of the way I think about it is the lounge is for your questions. The halftime report is for daily routine. And the evening show is where we can really dive in on the teaching of the strategies, the managing, the portfolio design, really the teaching aspect, if you will. At least that kind of the way that I tend to think about it. So that's what the schedule is going to look like. Again, if you're ever a little confused or lost or don't know where the links are or anything like that, easiest thing to do is come into this events calendar, click on what you're looking to get into, and you'll get the information to get into that show. So that's going to be what the schedule is going to look like. Now on Fridays, we all get together as a team of coaches here as the market's winding down into the close, and in what we call our scouting report meeting. And out of that scouting report meeting comes our Tackle newsletter, our stock, options, commodity, and Forex reports. Each week, we're going to issue some reports, based off of what we're seeing in the market in these different areas. Let's start with the newsletter, though. The newsletter is, if you've taken the 7-step guide to trading, or if you just noticed, remember that first step was starting at the top of the market. And that's what we're doing here in the newsletter. Hey, what's going on in the market right now? What's the storyline? How is the market behaving? What's moving it, right? What's the economic report coming out this week that we might want to keep an eye out for? Of course, we'll always have a video in this stuff talking you through it. Where's the S&P 500 and kind of how are we seeing that going into the upcoming week? The charts for the different index ETFs, DIA for the Dow Jones, QQQ for the NASDAQ, IWM for the RUT, and SPY for the S&P 500, as well as the sector spider ETFs, XLE for energy, XLI for industrials, and so on and so forth, just so you can kind of, follow those ETFs along if you would like. The Coach Gino's Arkham high-low indicator that looks at the internals of the market to kind of see, hey, where, are we seeing strength or weakness in the market right now, broadly speaking, right? When we're looking at something like the S&P 500, for example, because of the way, it's designed and being weighted, so much depends on those big, huge companies, the Apples, the Amazons, right? The Facebooks and stuff of the world. We want to look, and that's cool, right? I mean, those are pretty big companies. They matter a lot, but the Arkham High Low is going to look at, really the internals, looked at over 8,000 stocks to help kind of get an idea of where we are in the market. The seasonality, historic seasonality chart, just, hey, what does the market tend to do this time of year from a historical perspective? Same thing with the sectors, right? What sectors historically do the best this month? What historically lag behind a little bit? We don't want to overvalue that information, but it's not bad information to have at the same time, right? The upcoming earnings calendar, our rankings for the sectors. So each week we're going to kind of rank the sectors, based off of what we're seeing on the companies within those sectors to kind of let what we're liking, what we're, kind of neutral on, what we might be bearish on, that type of stuff. We'll talk you through kind of the thought process in the video, of course, but just a quick visual so you can kind of see where our head is in these different sectors each and every week. We kind of build it out on a football field, as you can kind of see here. And one thing about us is we're not very extreme. So it is very, very rare for us to put anything in the end zone. We're very rarely, while it's perfectly normal for me, at least, to put a stock at a plus or minus 3. Oh, that's really bearish, or that's really bullish. I've never personally put a whole market or a whole sector that aggressive on either side. And that is pretty normal for the other coaches here at Tackle Trading as well. Just not that, I guess, aggressive or extreme. I don't know what word to use as far as that goes. You'll find a lot in the, one or between the 40 and the 20, or the 20 and the goal line. But if you think about football, if you're a football fan, getting into the red zone, you're pretty excited if you're a football fan, because you think your team's going to come back with some points, right? It might just be a field goal, but it should be something. So we'll kind of talk you through this in the video, but that's kind of how you can use this each week. A little bit of a reminder of how the market being weighted impacts all of this stuff in here. There's also a pre-built scanner. So if a particular area has caught your attention and you want to take a closer look, a quick closer look at companies in that area, say Tex caught your eye here today, this will bring you once again back over to FinViz. It'll bring you what I call trader-friendly stocks. These are stocks that have really good liquidity, so they're very comfortable from a stock perspective. They're optionable. Now, everything when it comes to options, just because it's optionable doesn't mean I'd be comfortable trading those options, doesn't mean you'd be comfortable trading those options. So we would, of course, want to double check. But as a whole, I would say these groups of stocks are fairly easy to trade if you prefer to trade with options. That is at least my personal opinion. I guess the point is, if there's something in here that's caught my attention enough to prep it to build a trade on it, whether it's through stock or options, I feel very comfortable I'm going to be able to build something that I can be comfortable trading from a liquidity perspective, just if you will. Going to take, just as you can kind of see here, just kind of have a bunch of charts side by side. Could never build a trade off of these things, but we could kind of see, hey, look, Texas Instruments maybe trying to break out, right? Kind of top, drop, banging on the door here. If I want to take a little bit of a closer look, I can just click on that. It'll bring up a little bit of a bigger chart. Again, I probably couldn't build a trade off of this, but I can definitely see that I'm either not interested or I'm interested enough to actually go into my trading, my charting software and see what I can do, right? So just an easy way to find some potential trade ideas. once we've clicked on it to take a closer look, just go back to screener and that'll bring you right back to the pre-built there. Just an easy way to scroll through a lot of stock charts very, very quickly. And if something catches my eye, great, I can go take a closer look at it. If not, no big deal, right? So pretty handy. Will be there for all of the different sectors. If an area's caught your eye, but you don't really have, a lot of stocks in your watch list in that particular area, just a very easy place to find that. So that's going to be the newsletter. And then, of course, the stock options commodity and forex report are going to kind of focus on what their names would suggest, right? The forex report, Coach Cody typically does that one for us. Does a great job kind of highlighting what's going on with the major pairs, how they are looking technically. He does a lot of teaching over there as well for folks who are, interested but not trading forex or maybe starting to get interested in it. Does an awesome job. I honestly believe if you just listen into the forex report for a few months, you'll have a really good handle on that currency market. He does such a great job with that. As I mentioned earlier, Coach Mark typically does our commodity report. He does that live in his Friday Mind of a Trader, but of course it'll be recorded and posted here for those of you who can't make it live, where he can kind of talk about, hey, what's going on in the world of commodities, right? What's the storylines moving the commodities? What's the fundamentals behind it? Obviously, what are the technicals looking like to get a better handle on the world of commodities? And even if we're not trading commodities, if you're not trading in the futures market, there are plenty of things we can do through stocks and ETFs. Plenty of oil, energy stocks that we can trade, right? If we want to, gold ETFs, all of that fun stuff. So does a lot that's definitely helpful, even if you're not a futures trader. Commodity report is definitely very, very helpful. The stock and option report are going to be built very similar to one another. Their real difference is going to be on, of course, the vehicle. The stock report, we're really looking at it from a stock perspective, right? So we're going to just really be focused on the technicals and the setup itself. We can kind of talk through that in the video. The option report, of course, the technicals are every bit as important still, but we're going to spend a little more time talking about strategy selection, right, over in the options report. They're both going to be built very similar. However, as far as we'll have a potential bullish watch list, a potential bearish watch list. We can kind of talk you through kind of the setup going in the video, kind of what we're seeing. In the option report, we can talk about strategy selection. Hey, based off what we're seeing here, might make sense to sell some naked puts. It might make sense to do a diagonal. It might make sense to do whatever. So we can talk about that side of the coin as well. We'll always have both a bullish and a bearish watch list. So we always have potential trade ideas on both ways. Just because I'm not a bear doesn't mean I don't want to have a few bearish things in my watch list if I want to set a bearish trade up, right? We'll also do a little bit of teaching. This week, over in the stock report, Coach Greg talked, about using intraday analysis, different time frames. Over here in the option report, Coach Tyler talked about using, debit spreads and specifically bull calls when trading breakouts to kind of avoid getting whipsawed, right? Getting in and it drops just low enough to hit your stop loss and then it runs. One of the most, if not the most, certainly one of the most annoying things in trading, right? So we'll always take an opportunity to do a little bit of teaching each and every week as well, based off, again, what's going on in the market, what kind of questions our team members are having. We'll always keep it focused on you. If you aren't familiar with these trading view charts, which are the built-in charts that we use in our watch list, as you noticed, just a couple of quick things. This guy right here will just hide the watch list, so you have a little more chart to work with. You just hit it again, it'll bring it back. Your indicators will be right up here. Now, these indicators aren't going to save, so I always come in and I always add the average true range personally, and that's the only one I use, over here, because I don't want to have to add them all every time I'm looking at this. You can make that bigger or smaller just by holding your left mouse button down, kind of the barrier between the volume and the indicator you added. With ATR, for example, I'm just looking at the number. I don't really care what the line looks like personally. So don't maybe overdo it with indicators. And if you do, just note that when you leave the page and come back, they will all be gone. Unfortunately, they do not save. You're going to find if you prefer, for whatever reason, if you prefer bar charts, you can, of course, go right there. Most of us trade with candlestick charts, but if you are one of those that they are out there that like bar charts that can get you to change in there. Your time frame, It's going to be auto set up to daily, right? There's a couple, there's the 1 minute, 30 minute, the hourly chart. This drop down here will bring you more options. Maybe you want to look at the weekly chart on HP here, for example, just to get a little bit of perspective, right? Hey, what did they do? Well, hey, that's kind of a good idea, right? Because at least to me, because we broke out and now we're testing that old resistance as new support potentially. This tool right here, that's the trend line tool that I just grabbed to draw that line. It's going to work for both horizontal as well as trend lines. Come back to the daily chart here on this, so we can kind of say, okay, well, we've got some history, a potential support catalyst right here. If I wanted to say draw a trend line, to kind of, there we go. We're kind of pretty consistent little trend line there, right? That I can kind of work with. If I want to go intraday to kind of, get an entry, I can do that. A lot of fun things you can do. There's also this one right here. This is where you can prep out longer short positions. Say I want to get in when it takes out that trend line. So I'm not going to get too carried away or go too specific here, but let's just say that's where I've got my entry set up. If maybe that'll change in the days to come, right? If this trend line keeps pushing us down, maybe my order will be down here tomorrow. But as of right now, maybe that's where I'd like it. Maybe I'd like my stop loss set up a little bit below that break, the old resistance level. Maybe I've got a target price in mind of $34 for my first target and a price of 36 for my second target. I can see what my risk to reward looks like. If this is the trade I'm building, and again, we did spend too much time, we're just mostly using this as an example. I can see that, based off of where I'm getting in, where I've got my stop loss, where I've got my target price set up, for every dollar I'm risking, I have a, reward rate of $2.58. So, most of us, directional traders don't take trades that don't have at least a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. That ultimately is up to each of us to decide, but that's very common, normal, whatever, for directional traders to keep that risk to reward ratio at a 2-to-1 to better to, hey, we're going to lose some, right? Let's kind of plan that ahead of time, if you will. So a lot of fun things that you can do with this this trading view chart. Again, the one thing to note is, this is going to be gone when I leave. When I leave this page and come back tomorrow, my lines are going to be gone. My indicator is going to be gone. My risk to reward little tool here is going to be gone, but it does save me a tremendous amount of time, particularly on the risk to reward side of things. So I don't actually have to do the math. I can just very quickly, hey, this is what it would look like. Okay, I'm comfortable with that. I'm not comfortable with that, right? So that is going to be that trading view tool as well. But what these really are ways that we can share trade ideas with our team members each and every week. You don't have to like any of them. You don't have to like all of them. You can pick your favorite setups. And we just want to highlight, some good setups, and kind of talk about kind of what we're seeing, what we're liking about it, and that type of thing with our team members. You can expect all of these reports to be to you by Saturday afternoon. So you have plenty of time to go through any or all of them before the market opens up on Monday morning. Don't be afraid to prioritize, right? It's better to do a great job with 2 than fly through all 5 and not get a lot out of it, right? Don't be afraid to prioritize. Now, I always tell people, you can build your own tackle trading. A brand new trader probably uses tackle trading a little bit differently than someone who's been with us for 3 years. Brand new trader might be focused, specifically on the technical analysis 101 course and just working on the stock report so they can get their technical analysis and their risk to reward and their trade identification set up. A veteran trader, might be, doing a lot, in the options side of things, right? They might, they know the strategies, they've been doing them. They look towards the option report. They look for discussions in the cash flow club. There's not a right or a wrong way, right? You build your own tackle trading based off of where you are and what you're trading. And it sometimes feels, we do a lot, as you can kind of see here, we're going to keep you pretty busy. And we'd much rather keep you too busy than not busy enough, right? It's really normal to feel like everybody else is doing everything. They're in that lounge every morning. Then they're hanging out over on the halftime report every afternoon. They're always in every night show. They're hanging out with Mark on Fridays and Sundays. They're going through all the reports and trading all those areas. It's really easy to feel like everybody but you does everything, but that's usually not the case. We do have some people that are pretty much at everything that we do, which is awesome. But we have a lot, probably more of people that, I also have other things I do in my life, right? Work, kids, whatever it might be. So don't be afraid to build out your own tackle trading. If you're ever feeling overwhelmed, if you're ever feeling lost, there's lots of ways. Reach out, ask about it in the lounge, ask about it in the clubhouse, send us an email, holler at me on Twitter, whatever it is. If you need something, never hesitate to reach out. That's what we're here for. We are active on all of the more traditional social media platforms, right? We talked about the Clubhouse. Obviously, we've got a lot of things that we're doing live on YouTube, our Monday night webinar, our Wednesday night webinar, our halftime report every market day. But we also have a lot of videos over there as well. We've got, a lot of tutorials, walkthroughs, entire playlist on Think or Swim. We're always adding more videos. So certainly lots over on our YouTube channel to keep you busy and help you out, I hope. If you are using LinkedIn or Instagram, I certainly invite you over there. Facebook, I'm not a Facebook guy, but a lot of people like Facebook, and that's cool with me. We've got a tackle trading group over on Facebook. So if you're a Facebook user and want to, more ways to talk trading with folks, certainly invite you to join us over there. I'm the Twitter guy here at Tackle Trading. I do a lot, for Tackle Trading's Twitter myself. I like Twitter. I'm not really a social media guy, but Twitter's pretty cool because I can take a picture of a chart. I can share it with the world. Maybe they like it, maybe not, but it's easy for me to do. And who doesn't want to share a chart setup that they found, right? So another easy way for me to interact with members of the team, at least those who use the Twitter. So I certainly invite you, if you are a Twitter user, to join us. You can, of course, find me personally at Frank Martin23 as well. But the Tackle Trading Twitter is where I do most of my posting personally, at least. So invite you to join us at any of those. If you're not using it, that's fine. No big deal. You're probably not ever going to get me to do Facebook. Believe me, Coach Matt has tried and tried and tried. Probably won't happen. All right. So if you're not using it, I'm not gonna try to pressure you to do it. But if you are, just a cool place to be able to hang out with other cool traders, right? So who doesn't want to do that? So certainly invite you to join us over there. Like I said earlier, if you're ever hung up, you don't know where to go, you're lost, you don't know what to look at next, send us an email, team@tackletrading.com, never far away. You will find every Monday the Matt, Tim, and Mark do the Trading Justice podcast. You can find that over at tradingjustice.com. It's right here on this tweet right here. So easy for me to say that right now, just tradingjustice.com. That is where you can find the podcast. You can also catch the podcast on any of the major providers. If you are a podcast person, you probably know a lot more about that than me. I just listen to it over at tradingjustice.com. Personally, there's also an awesome monthly newsletter at tradingjustice.com. Very much worth checking out each month as well. So that's tradingjustice.com. You'll also find the Huddle, which is a relatively new, just a very short, quick top 5 stories of the day. Each morning, where the big stories going into the market. It's also just a short, 10-minute podcast over on Apple Podcasts, as you can kind of see here. That's where you can find that each and every morning. Just to quick. Let's hit it and let's get done with it, right? So that's going to be our Huddle podcast coming out each and every market morning as well. We do have a daily email. That is our Tackle Today email. If you don't get that and would like to, if you just come into Tackle Today, you can sign up for the email in there. If you prefer just to read it here, you can. It will get delivered to your inbox faster than it'll get posted to this, but we will post the morning email in here as well. So if you prefer just to do it over here for whatever reason, you can do that. But if you would like that, it's just you can sign up right in here. Not too crazy or anything along those lines. If you ever want more information on any of our products, our the premium systems, journals, whatever, you head over to the store. You can get some more information on that stuff over there. Ladies and gentlemen, that is everything I wanted to take you through this evening. It's certainly been my pleasure and privilege hanging out with you this evening. I certainly appreciate everybody who joined me live. Those of you who catch the recording a little bit later, I hope it was helpful. I hope it gave you a better idea of what we're doing over here at Tackle Trading, where you can find it, a little bit more about us and who we are as a community as well. I will, of course, see you again. You will see me in our YouTube shows. You'll see me over on Twitter, Clubhouse, hanging out in the other shows sometimes. So I certainly don't expect that this will be goodbye. I think it will just be good night. I certainly welcome you to Tackle Trading. Great to have you with us. So, I always say there's always room in my life for another trader. I don't think that'll ever not be true. I love trading. I love talking trading. I love bouncing ideas around with people who like this stuff. So very happy personally to have you with us, because probably a fair chance I'll steal a trade idea or two from you somewhere down the road, even though you may never know it. I probably will do just that. But ladies and gentlemen, that'll do us for this evening. If there are any questions, I will let you go. But again, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for checking out Tackle Trading. If you've joined us, welcome to Tackle Trading. There's always going to be a link to a free 15-day trial in each of our YouTube videos. So if you aren't a pro member and want to take a closer look, no strings attached, just a 15-day free trial. So you can come hang out with us, see what we're all about. So, if you haven't been thinking about it, what do you got to lose at 15-day free trial? We'll always take care of you. Never worry about that side of things. All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, thank you. This has been Coach Frank hanging out with you here this evening. It has been my pleasure and privilege. Appreciate everybody's time. Welcome to Tackle Trading. Have a great rest of the night and a great rest of the week, both in and out of the market. And I will look forward